Keto, intermittent fasting, plant based diets, everywhere you turn, there's a new trend promising to improve your health. But with so much conflicting advice, how do we separate fact from fake information? Today we have with us Dietitian Hajeera Zameer, who has over 15 years of experience. In this conversation, we will explore how food really impacts our health, what works in the long run, and whether these popular diets live up to their claims. Thank you so much for joining us, firstly. And first thing that I want to ask you is that how does food really impact our health? Because we see so many foodies around. Food is like everybody's love these days. So
Right.
tell us, how does it impact our health? What role does it play?
Okay. So basically, my concept is the food is medicine. So if you are taking the right food, it's going to work as a medicine, and you don't have to take medicines. Okay. And even if there are some studies which are showing that even if you're on medicines, there are certain foods which are helping you get rid of the medicine. So yes, I think food is everything. Food is the main concept. Like even the multivitamin tablets and jo bhi hai, तो उसमें भी actually they are extracting things from the food and they're putting into the tablet. So
Yeah.
that's how even a medicine is made. Even the pharmacy or the any higher some there's food brands which I cannot mention. There are certain food companies which are getting these kind of health capsules and health powders, protein powders, which are extracting substances from like eggshells and the egg whites. So that's how they're getting it. So I think the main concept, the seed is the food. So you get the right food and you're landing up to a good health. So basically, food is medicine.
And what happens when nowadays we have a lot of processed food, we eat a lot of junk as well. That's
Right,
normally, I think, at least in urban cities like Bangalore, Mumbai. I'm typically talking about these urban
right,
cities that we have.
right.
The overall food, like, there is we don't have meals at proper time. Most of the people don't have meals
Right,
at proper time. Most of them are eating outside. How does that also impact them? Because most of these are, I would say, 20 to 30 under that bracket.
right, right.
That impact them.
Okay, it is a major impact. I would say it is like the health is deteriorating majorly due to the consumption of these junk food. Okay, the major point, because once it is advertised on the television, even the kid who doesn't understand or who doesn't know A to Z can understand the concept of how it is shown on the television, and they are gone into it. So if the kid is going, and how wouldn't the adult go for it? So it is something like the junk is deteriorating 80%, I mean the 90% of anyone's health. And yes, of course, if you know about it, there are certain MSGs which are included in the food products, which feels like, which makes your brain, it is a drug to your brain. It feels like you cannot have just one. You cannot stop with one. You need to go and complete the whole packet. So that's the game funda which is going on with the junk food. So yes, I would say it is like the major 90% impact is because of the junk food.
Also, nowadays there are trends of intermittent fasting. A lot of people have keto diets, those sorts of things.
Mm. Mm.
Firstly, I want to know, what exactly does this mean? If you could bust that for our audience who
Okay.
probably are not introduced to it. And then how does that work? Like, does it help everybody? Who should do it? Or can anybody start practicing these things?
Okay, okay. So for this, I have to start with the topic from who a dietitian is, like whom are you consulting? That is the first point. Okay. There are a few nutritionists working, they are like, they've just taken up few courses and they've landed into certain thing that, yes, now, like Rate Rat, they become nutritionist or something like that. If you're consulting such people or such professions, it will not work out because they will not study the science of food. There are certain dietitians and nutritionists who are doing really well in the market because they have done their masters, their bachelors, their interns in this food and nutrition. So then what happens? They know the science of what is actually a fasting and how do you intermittent it, or how do you actually balance it with only keto or OMAD or however it is. So what I feel is, let the food be very general, let the food be very ordinary. And I have an Instagram profile which talks about ordinary food. An ordinary egg, the boiled egg will do the task. Or ordinary, just a simple buttermilk. Buttermilk is a
Hmm.
very simple food. Just a 1 tablespoon of curd with water will do the magic. So the ordinary foods are doing the magic. You don't have to get into something very hi-fi or something into the broccoli and the avocado and all of that. So what I feel is, first, when you are consulting, please know the qualification of the dietitian, whoever you're talking to or whoever you're consulting. That's a very main point. And next, of course, when you've consulted the right person, I'm very sure you're going to land up into a good health. So that is a thing. And if I have to explain intermittent fasting and
Yeah.
keto fasting, I would prefer, that's what I'm telling, let the food be very normal, and let your home food be the three times meal, the common meals with the portion control. So addict to a simple thing which you can actually continue and not
Hmm.
stop. Okay.
Hmm.
Take something and switch it to something which you can actually continue for a lifetime and not stop. And, because the dietitians are costing too heavy, you cannot pay them continuously and then you have to quit. So don't do that. Just be very simple with the food, and that's going to work.
So, there are a lot of people, who just start intermittent fasting by probably seeing something online. They might see a particular practice, somebody doing it, and they might follow the same thing for their body as well. Does
Mm.
it work that way? Like, does it help if you go do it that way, firstly?
Actually, no, it wouldn't. Definitely, it wouldn't, because different body types are there. Like, different body has a different metabolism. So Mercedes Benz would work differently rather than a Jetor, or a luxury brand would differ from a local brand. So that would definitely happen. So what I say, because I'm working from 24/7, my lifestyle is very quick, or very happening, or I have a very active lifestyle. So my food quality will different from the one who is sedentary and who's working in an office and who is sitting for a long time. Okay, so don't try to switch your food with the ones whom you're seeing. So there are these ads on the TV which I've noticed it recently, because there's somebody who is running, and then she has this green tea, or she has the cereal, the breakfast cereal.
Yeah.
So it's really not going to work that way. It's not going to work that way. You have to know your body, your metabolism, and how it's going to work with the food. So that's all the science of the food again.
So again, the ads most commonly that we usually see, especially if I recall most of them being women, like, having these vitamins, or having cereals and being able to work throughout the day, having that sort of energy. Most of them are false. Like, it might not work
I
for everybody's body.
Okay, so see, firstly, I would say I would not encourage any brand. So I don't endorse any brand, or I have not promoted any such thing, because I told you the first concept was the basic food. Okay, and the second point, if you are telling that if this is going to work,
Hmm.
I feel your body will get addicted, and then probably you feel like, yeah, it's working. Okay. So that's how your body communicates initially. Now if I tell you, see, this is going to work this way, and I talk to you very positively about it, and you feel that yes, and then you feel yes, yes, it's working. And there's other person who is talking negative about it, and you feel like, no, it's not working. So it's all the mind
The
game
narrative
first.
that you hear first.
Yeah, yeah. So what you hear and what you get communicated is actually the main point. So positive, you will feel positive. But I personally, I think as a dietitian, I wouldn't encourage any commercial food. The normal, the nutty, the organic, I mean, the fresh ones is the best ones.
Also, talking about this, there's a lot of change right now. There's also the trend of going vegan or following vegetarianism. How do you look at that as well? Especially if some
Huh.
people who, change from completely eating non-veg, so they suddenly go vegan, or they start following vegetarianism. and then they
Right.
at least they have these cravings of suddenly wanting to eat non-veg, but they don't. And how does that work? Like, can it be healthy
Okay,
then?
okay. Okay. So I feel the culture, the khandan, what you come, where you're coming from, it talks. Okay, so the blood is thicker than water. So your ancestors, what they are doing, I think it is the right thing what they have done, and you're here.
Hmm.
Okay, so somewhere in the box you come out of it and say, I'm not going to follow what was done, and I'm going to change it as vegan and all that. I personally feel it's not going to work. It's not going to work. And see, some foods like some vitamins like vitamin B12, magnesium, and
Hmm.
vitamin D. From where you going to fetch all this? You are not. I mean, the body is not able to produce all this. You need to get it from outside,
Hmm.
from the resourced it from outside. So I think it's better for how your ancestors have been followed. So yes, do not change your generation in between. You can change your generation in between by giving a right food. Okay, I can change my son by stopping like giving sugar in the milk. So I think
Hmm.
because I have drank my milk when I was young, I think the sugar was added in the milk. Now because I know that milk already has sugar, I wouldn't give it to my son. So this part of the changes in a positive way, in a healthy way, yes, I do agree with the point. But something like one night day or morning you become a vegan, so I don't think so it's going to work out that way. I have a few of my friends who have turned vegan and they're all into that, but I don't feel it's going to work it that
So it doesn't help the, like, if we just look at the health aspect very biologically, it doesn't really work. Is that what you're saying? Like veganism, let's say
way.
somebody who's probably a vegetarian, assuming that they have been a vegetarian all their life, they come from a family that follows vegetarianism, and they turn vegan because now their diet obviously changes even more if they stop consuming milk based products.
Right.
Does that make their health better, or it doesn't have any effect biologically?
Okay, so I would say if they are continuing, then I think it would they will have good results for their skin and hair and yeah, biologically also. But if they have something like on and off, and because of the show off, or because of something like just like for a few days I'm going to do, so
Yeah.
that will not work out. Yeah, that wouldn't work.
So if they're being with it, they have to be really consistent to allow their body to
Yeah, yeah,
have it.
right,
Okay.
right,
Also, I wanted to know, like you mentioned already, that especially vitamin B, vitamin B12, vitamin D are something that's mostly common in a lot of people, and especially vegetarians. How can
right.
they, gain these vitamins? What can they do to make their health better, especially with these deficiencies, which most likely comes from, non-vegetarian food?
Right. Okay. No, they are actually see the concept. What is there in protein? Also, you have plant protein, you have animal protein.
Hmm.
Okay, so animal protein is your chicken, your paneer, or your egg.
Tofu.
So that's your animal protein. And when you're yeah tofu, and then when you're coming to a plant protein, it becomes your sprouts and your legumes and all of that. So it is a bit difficult, but it is not that difficult if you really have to take in a vegetarian form. It will also work. It's soya chunk is the cheapest form of protein. The people are not opting, or the people are not taking the cheapest things. The people are not buying the cheap products. They all want the most expensive,
Fancy.
the branded, or yeah, something which is on the TV, on the television. But no, you get the काफी amount आपको vitamin B12 and all of that you will get if you are consulting the right person.
Uh-huh. Yeah, so you have to keep a dietitian in check and also know
Yeah,
your
yeah.
body about it. Makes sense.
Mhm.
Also, you've worked with a lot of women who have PCOS. Uh, and can you tell us how does diet play a role in that? Because the hormonal changes are so much, and especially for such. Uh,
I would tell you that's the major part. The major part. Meeting a gynecologist, and once you get to know you are a PCOD patient, it is the first thing. The first and foremost is your dietitian. not only the PCOD, I would say even the thyroid, the diabetic, and the PCOD. Okay, the hormonal imbalance. So this should be consulted to a dietitian because diet plays such an important role. I mean, I cannot brief you in the words. Everything comes second. So once you get in touch with, how important how correct you're taking the food. Like, yeah, there are a few clients which I get, they are into the right foods, almost the right foods, but still they are not getting the result. That's because the quantities, or that's because the timings.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, timing, quantity, and the quality, everything differs. So that's the I do have the most of my patients are women's, most of my patients, and getting to know each one of them is, I'm really sorry. Getting to know each one of them with each one of its problem is related to food itself, and you can see the result in just 15-20 days if you're really very perfect on the how your routine is with the food. You can see the result,
Also, what would be the
like
right?
how you
Yeah. Yes, yes. Please continue. You're mentioning.
yeah like how it is, like you eat a Panadol or you eat a capsule and you feel like, now my headache is gone immediately, so something like that. The food really works, it does the magic. If you know the right way, no, it really does the magic. You can see the difference, like how magical my belly is, going inside, or my skin is really getting the glow, or I'm getting active. I was not so lethargic. So that
Yeah.
really matters. And there are few patients. We were talking about PCOD and all. I have to expose these patients who are into depression. I have to tell you, okay, the clients who are into depression or the clients who are into anxiety, again again the food is not going to work. Definitely they will not feel like eating, they want to eat the junk food and all of that. But once the right food comes, they automatically feel very happy, and they come out of it.
Yeah, there's a
So I
reason,
have
like at
seen
least
all of
I'm
it.
aware that vitamin B deficiency causes mood changes. So vitamin D, I think. So these things, it
Right.
elevates along with the help of professionals
Mm.
in the play.
Right.
So what
Right.
would be the right dietary plans for, let's say, a man and a woman in India, in urban India, mostly if you're talking about around the age group of 20s to 30s? What's the right thing that we've been mentioning that there's a right way if you have the right food? What would that right food be?
Okay. See, first of all, though, the category differs, okay, vegetarian or the non-vegetarian. And also it differs, like if you're a South Indian or a North Indian, all of these cultures
Yeah.
differ. So usually I first talk about what exactly is your breakfast, what is your lunch, and what is your dinner. And in that, I do the minus and the plus, so that it becomes easy for them to follow.
Yeah.
So if I have to insist the important foods or how the diet should be basically changed, okay, the first point would be low spicy, low spicy. Okay, the second would be zero oil or no oil, or a little oil. I would say little oil. Okay, zero oil, low oil, or little oil. And the third, it would be physical activity. And when your food becomes low spicy, when your food becomes zero oil and you're physically active, you've done the magic. Let it be South Indian, North Indian, vegetarian, non-vegetarian, you've done the job.
So only following these three actually reduces a lot
Yeah,
of other troubles that we
yeah,
have.
yeah. Because usually when you're going to restaurants and all of that, you're having this chili type of things and all of
Yeah.
that, or you're having the junk, the oily, the chips and all of that. And then you're not active, you're almost all the time on the reels or on the phone or the work, so that affects. So all of these three things, if it's rectified, see, I cannot tell you have fruit, because I don't know if this person is suffering from a diabetic or if the person is non-diabetic. So how much is the fruit? So I cannot
Yeah.
put that point into my three important
Yeah.
points. But even if a diabetic, the zero oil, the low spicy, and the physical
It
lifestyle will work.
works.
So take it for any therapeutic patient. This is going to work. So I think, yeah, this
Also,
would be my way.
three major things that one should follow. And
Right.
even if if we say, you've already covered a bit about how the lifestyle and activity matters, but if you look more, like we've already spoken that there are people who sit actually, and they have at least they tend to follow a particular, they might go for a walk or they might practice some sort of sport at least in one part of the day. And there are people who walk throughout the day, they have a very intensive, physically intensive work. What role does that play? And if you could give also simple tips for them also, like how to have a balance in those things.
Okay. The only suggestion I would give them is you have to get some me time. Me time is very important. Yeah, you're working out, that's not your me time. Okay. You're balancing everything, but still you don't have time to sit and relax. You don't have time to sit and pray, or you don't have time to sit for give time for your kids. Then it is not it is that's not going to work again. So yes, I think probably your hobby. See, nowadays there's nobody who is continuing their hobby. Akshita, have you noticed that? Because earlier when we were in our school times, it was
Mhm.
like that's my hobby and that's how you learn, and something collection of something or
Yeah.
something interest of us. Now we don't have any interest because we're working for somebody else, or we're
Yeah.
working for somebody else's happiness, and we're working and we're running behind money. So all of that, in that we've lost a piece.
Mm. Yeah. So
So
having
I
like,
would suggest you
yeah, yes, you're
you need
continuing.
to
Please
have a
continue.
no. So that's what I would suggest, that we should have a me time. Anybody, even though have balanced routines, they still need to have their separate time for themselves. So that's how
So
this
for,
yoga and
yeah,
I'm done.
meditation and those things.
Continue.
No, no. So
Yeah,
basically,
right.
I wanted to just ask that first are the three things that you mentioned: the low spicy food, having little to no oil, and having some sort of activity levels throughout the day, and also having, taking care of your psychological well-being. When these two are combined together, and of course having professionals to help when required, it works out. Like you see the changes that at least happens through food. Is that right?
Yeah, right.
Also, what would be your advice to the viewers who know, in terms of diet, especially because now online we see so many things regarding diets? What would you tell them?
I think, see, according to me, food is very simple. Don't have to complicate it. Don't make it very expensive. I know even the green leafy vegetables has become so expensive, like the 50 rupees a bunch, or the tomatoes and onions are also expensive. So don't take whatever is simple, whatever is available, and just home cooked food. Stick to your home cooked food. So yes. So this should be my opinion. I don't want anybody to go and buy food products, or I don't know. I'm like damaging all the commercial markets there.
Thank you. Thank you so much for that.
Yeah. And even for your kids, you have to keep it very simple. Let them not get addicted to any commercial products. Let them not, their breakfast should be idli, dosa, and puri, and let it be very thing. And rather than having, I can't mention, there are so many cereals which are
Yeah.
coming in the market, and no, don't make it. Actually, mothers are making life simpler with using all of these. But I should say, no, we should all work hard towards our health and spend some time in the kitchen to make the right food, because your body is your home, and you keep your home, I think, clean. So yes, we should keep our body clean. So that's how I explain this mantra to my kids. So
Yeah.
keep it clean.
So just having the regular food that we usually have culturally, that would be the best thing to do.
Yeah, right, exactly. Don't jump into the advertisements, don't jump into commercial products, don't do that, I think. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you so much.